Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. We have Venus ingressing into the sign of Cancer today, and lo and behold, we also have another FOMC meeting. The Federal Reserve is going to be making their rate decision on interest rates. The market expects them to keep rates steady. And then, of course, we do have the Fed Chair Powell press conference after. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the markets here. Stocks are up ever so slightly. The Dow Jones cash index did come within a spitting distance of a new all-time high last week, but failed to do so, and since then has basically just drifted sideways. Now, in of itself, this is not bearish price action, but we must not forget that we are still in the Mercury retrograde period up until August 10th or August 11th. So, Mercury is retrograde right now. The possibility of false moves or fake outs in one direction or another are elevated. And especially, when it comes to listening to what Powell has to say today, take everything that he says with a grain of salt. Obviously, there is an ongoing feud between the Fed chair and the president, President Trump. Trump wanting lower interest rates. We did have GDP data come in hotter than expected this morning. And that is something that would probably lead the Fed to hold off on cutting interest rates. Right now, we are looking at potentially the Federal Reserve cutting rates in September. And interestingly, Jupiter will be on the Federal Reserve's ascendant around that time, which does point to some potential stimulus. Take a look at the NASDAQ here. We are seeing the NASDAQ outperform a little bit to the upside. The NASDAQ 100 did make a new all-time high yesterday. Later this week, we do have Venus squaring both Saturn and Neptune on Friday. And then next Wednesday, we will have Mars ingressing into the sign of Libra. So notable dynamic shifts taking place here, especially when it comes to precious metals. I'm watching that area very closely. But right now, it's really NVIDIA's market, and we're all just living in it. It's up another 2% today. Other semiconductor names like Advanced Micro Devices have been strong. Broadcom has been bullish. And you just take a look at the semiconductor index, very close to new all-time highs. The ETF has already made new all-time highs. So that is a bullish sign. Bond market's not liking the GDP data this morning because it's interpreted as the Fed's going to hold off on lowering interest rates. So we'll see what Fed Chair Powell has in store for us later today, especially considering, you had that strong rally yesterday and it pretty much reversed hard. Crude oil, some very interesting price action, and this needs to be on your radar as well, especially considering we're going to have that square between Venus and Neptune later this week. We are coming up off a higher low, so bulls do have a little bit of momentum. Obviously, Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, Jupiter, a co-ruler of energy, along with Neptune exalted in Cancer. I do think that Jupiter in Cancer speaks more to what's going on in precious metals, specifically gold and silver. Both silver and gold are seeing a bit of a pullback today. We've been talking about some of the intermediate term risks on that front in our daily, weekly, and monthly reports here at MMA. So if you want to learn more, definitely check those out. But yeah, we're looking a little bit heavy on the precious metal front. You take a look at what's going on in crypto. Bitcoin still in sideways action, consolidating near its all-time highs. In of itself, that's not bearish. And I am looking at potentially Venus getting this market moving again with the ingress into Cancer and then the squares to Saturn and Neptune. Of course, Ethereum has been on an absolute tear. It's flat on the day. Honestly, the best thing that bulls for crypto could see at this point in time would be for cryptos to just go sideways. Not even so much correct, but go sideways. We really want to avoid seeing these rally too much too fast, especially during Mercury retrograde, because that opens the door for a sharper decline. So some sideways action would be a most welcome development. The US dollar also making a pretty significant comeback. Looks like the trend is changing. And that's big news, especially after the trade deals were struck with Japan and the European Union. Many have called it a one-side agreement in favor of the US. And, judging by how the currency market is reacting, that probably is a correct interpretation. Seeing these moves unfold in this heavily Venusian period, of course, Venus rules currencies. This does speak volumes about a potential reversal in trend. So it could be that the dollar comes back and rallies into year end, and that would probably favor U.S. equity markets over European and international equity markets. So that could be a reversal of the trends that we have seen year to date. We must stay nimble, especially in Mercury retrograde, but that's all I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, enrollment for the Merriman Market Timing Academy is still open. Spots are filling up quickly. We only have about a dozen spots left. We do start in about 2 months on September 27th. So if you're interested, send us an email, customer service at MMAcycles.com, because spots are filling quickly and they're not going to be open for much longer. We are only accepting 50 students this time around. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We have a nice lineup of guests in the coming weeks. You're not going to want to miss those segments. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.